Saleema Noon is a sexual health educator. She goes around to various schools still.
That's right, yeah.
And you have iGirl workshops.
I run empowerment workshops. It used to be Go Girl. We, 2 years ago, renamed it to bring it up to date. It's called iGirl.
I see, like the iPad and the iPhone and the iCloud and the iIs.
Exactly. So it's a day camp that we bring around to different communities. We've got our first one of the season this weekend, actually, in Burnaby, so that's exciting.
Okay.
And we encourage girls to, well, we give them the information and the skills they need to navigate their teen years. That's the goal.
About everything from
body image to self-esteem to sexual
body
health
image,
to making
birth
smart
control,
decisions,
making smart decisions, what
internet
to do if you
safety.
get pregnant, internet safety, sexting, texting, all of that. So parents are concerned, obviously, and they don't want their kid to get caught. What can a parent do, really?
Yeah, there's lots we can do. First of all, parents need to start talking. You know, it is so powerful for parents to communicate with their child at any age, whether they're a child, a preteen, or a teenager, what their concerns are. So rather than just saying, you can't watch that TV show, explain why. Help your children understand. Okay. And pick your battles. So maybe there are TV shows that you watch with your child. From a young age, we need to, I mean, thinking about how our young girls are sexualized in the media, exposed to, you know, what we need to wear and commercials and cosmetics and all the rest.
And labels.
From a very young age, we have to be very careful about the kinds of words we use so that our girls aren't valued for being beautiful or sexy.
Sure.
So instead of you look pretty in that dress, you look happy in that dress.
But body image, a lot has to do certainly with messages, but it also has to do with how your mother is or how your father is.
Yeah.
And if your mother was constantly on a diet and your mother wouldn't dare go out without all of her makeup on, everything, earrings galore, you get that message as a young girl.
That is so true, Fanny. And our kids are watching our every move and they're listening to everything we say. So even seemingly flippant comments like, oh, well, I guess I can have dessert tonight. I went for a long run this morning.
Right. I look fat in this. I can't go out. Does my butt look big?
Yeah.
We've
we
all
also
been
have to be
raised with
careful not to make comments even jokingly about our daughters' bodies, especially through puberty, that could be offensive or hurtful or make them feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know? So they are watching and listening to everything we say and do. What we also need to do, I mean, there are things that are more proactive we can do with our kids. Talk about role models, female role models in our society. Share with our kids who our role models are and why.
Right. But I know, because you're a sexual health educator, that you want your teenager, your 9-year-old, to grow up and to be comfortable with sex and embrace sex and enjoy sex.
Absolutely.
And have a great relationship.
But it doesn't mean they have to dress in a sexy way now. It doesn't mean that they have to act like an adult now, like they are on the TV shows they're watching.
But what about peer pressure? Because if every young girl to the grade 7 dance is wearing the strapless, and your mother says you have to wear a high collar or pants, what do?
Well, you need to compromise.
Pretty much.
Right? And that is really difficult for parents, myself included.
Right.
We need to really pick our battles and think, okay, what's most important here? So maybe I'm not comfortable with my grade 7 daughter wearing a strapless dress to grade 7 grad, but we can add some little spaghetti straps.
Sure.
Or maybe she can wear a strapless dress and wear a shrug on top. So there are ways you can get around that. But at the end of the day, parents can't be scared to set reasonable limits on their kids.
And we knew our parents were weird. Like my mother had rules that didn't make sense. She did. Like you couldn't drive on the highway with your boyfriend. You couldn't go on the highway. You go in town anywhere, but you couldn't go on the highway. And I thought, what does she think is going to happen on the highway? Yeah. Maybe that I'd leave town. But I guess she thought we were going faster. But as you know, sometimes more accidents happen in town, especially in a city, than they do on the highway. But she had this thing. So we laughed about it when I grew up.
Yeah.
And I went on the highway anyway. It didn't work.
Exactly. So again, we need to be very careful about what we're going to fight for. And,
so do you say to
really
a kid,
important.
No matter what, do not sext? Thou shalt not sext on my watch when you're 17, 16? What do you do?
What we need to do is have a conversation with our teens about, like I said earlier, the internet being very public and our bodies and sexuality, respecting our bodies because they are private and the most special, important thing we own. So having the conversation to encourage our young people to make those good decisions when we can't be around. So it's not about saying, don't do this. It's about, I trust you to make a good decision based on the information you have.
Exactly.
And we have to trust our kids to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
Right?
And And as you say, work with them.
Work with
And
them.
that's one of the subjects that's difficult, getting a teen to tell you what's really going on.
Yeah, not to mention all of the ideas and the baggage we bring from our own childhood and how our parents raised us.
Sure, but there are some very hip moms and dads. And if you didn't have one, if you had the straight-laced ones, you love spending time with the hip moms and dads. You just did. They got it. And you did share with them, not maybe with your parents, but with the people who embraced you and understood you at some level.
So the challenge for parents is to be hip, to establish a connection with their kids, but
And
you're
dump
not your
the
kid's
judgment,
friends.
but guide.
You're a parent, not a friend, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
A
the tough
parent,
part.
not a friend. I thank you. Always a pleasure.
No problem, Fanny. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Saleema Noon, sexual health educator. She runs iGirl workshops. And coming up, it's more than a busy brain. It's a developmental disorder usually diagnosed in childhood or adolescence called ADHD. A BC doctor gives us the newest information on how to deal with this neurological imbalance in the brain next.